Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of our automated survival series. Minecraft 1.21 is finally out and I've had a blast streaming the beginning of the series on Twitch, so if you would like to leave it live and have fun, come over there. Most of the progress will happen on stream, so definitely check it out. For those who don't know what the series is about, there is a teaser video on my channel, but I'll quickly sum it up here. The goal is obviously to have a fully automated world, but what does that mean? Well, once I have found a spot for my base, I will make a storage room, but that storage room will be empty, so I'll need to create a few farms to fill it up. But there is different types of farms. First we have the spawn chunk farms, or playerless farms, which can be left in the spawn chunks and we work 24/7, no matter how far I am from them. Then there is the random tick farms, which require the player to be close by. Usually, any farms where something grows requires random ticks and thus a player nearby. I will build them in my base so they are active most of the time. Then we have locational farms that require a specific biome or a specific structure and will most likely not be near my base at all. The goal is to build all the possible farms in Minecraft, connect them all to my storage room, and have them automatically turn on or off based on the storage room needs. Also, some farms require resources to work, which they can take from the storage since it will be automatically renewed. With the new crafter, we will be able to have nearly all the items in the game automatically refilled in our storage room, and I can't wait to reach that point. It will take time for us to get there, and there will be a lot of challenges, probably transportation, storage, or chunk loading related. But I'm fairly confident that we can achieve it. Just bear in mind that we will also have to do the regular survival things before we can start making farms, so this episode will not see much progress toward the farms, but more of exploring and resource gathering, which hopefully we won't have to do so much in the following episodes. As you can see, I'm inputting a seed for the world, because I thought it was fitting to begin this series with a seed that you guys can easily reuse to get the same world, and I've always wondered if my name would make for a good or a bad seed. And oh boy was I not disappointed. You will see. While I'm gathering wood, I quickly want to address the fact that I'm using quite a few mods. While technically my game is modded, keep in mind that this is still a vanilla series, in the sense that all the mods I'm using are performance, recording, or quality of life mods. They do not alter the world in any meaningful way, and you do not need any mods to reproduce what we will do. I want anyone to be able to copy the farms and contraptions I will build into their own world, so none of the mods are required, they are just here to help me record the game or make it more pretty. The list of mods will probably change throughout the series, since for instance I'm still waiting on replay mod to be updated for 1.21, and that is why you won't have any cool replay shots in this video. Hopefully we will have it for next time. So here, I just spotted a shipwreck and an ocean monument. Let me start a counter for these. Shipwrecks are great when you start a new world, because they usually have iron or a map for a chest with diamonds. And I actually get a second shipwreck, with a second ocean monument. I decided to craft a boat and go check out the shipwreck. I craft myself a few doors to help me breathe underwater, but then I struggled placing the doors on the ship because it's made of lava slabs and I can't place doors on that. I almost drowned because of this, so I craft myself a couple more doors, and after a bit more struggle I finally get the 3 chests. One with armor trims and moss, which is really useful, and the second one with the treasure map. But I didn't get lucky on the treasure chest, there was almost no iron in it. I go back up to the surface, and after spotting a third guardian temple, I decide to head for the treasure of the map, hoping there would be diamonds there. On the way, I found a 4th Guardian Temple, and I'm starting to wonder if there is something we can do with that many Guardian Temples. On the way to the treasure, we find a nice biome, which is really good because it's very close to spawn. But I'm getting a bit distracted by the landscape and I didn't pay much attention to my health. So the moment I step on the treasure island, I get shot and killed by a skeleton. This is bad because it's nighttime and I'm very far from my stuff now. So while I'm trying to get back wood and some tools, another skeleton comes and shoots me to death again. And I think skeletons really don't like me in this game, cause he managed to kill me a 3rd time before I finally managed to kill him. Then I decide to make a quick stop at the exposed mineshaft in order to look for some iron to make a shield to protect me from these pesky skeletons. While I tried to get my iron, I almost died from a zombie who apparently didn't want me to have a shield. Which, after all that, I don't even need anymore, since it's not daytime and I don't have a way to smelt my iron. So when I finally make it back to the island, it's a relief to see that nothing has despawned and I get to get all my stuff back. Now is finally the time to look for that treasure chest. I'm hoping that it is close to shore and not too deep. But obviously, when I get close to the X on the map, I realize that there is a big chasm in the seafloor. And my chest is all the way at the bottom. What's funny is that the chest generated so deep that there was no sand to cover it, so the chest spawned a little cross of sand on top to cover itself, making it quite easy to find. In the chest, there was finally loads of iron and water-breathing potions, which I didn't know could spawn in these chests. So that was cool, but I almost drowned a couple times trying to get the loot from the chest since it was so deep in the water. Then, when I was heading back home, The game crashed a few times, and in the logs it said something about falling entities, and I got curious. Could this be the same bug that Brian had on Minecraft, the falling sand bug? So I had to test it out. And sure enough, when I placed some sand, the game crashed again. In case that ever happens to you, it's when you use continuity with sodium and you don't have indium. Both mods are incompatible by default, but if you put indium in the mix, it fixes them and they can work together properly. It took me a while to figure this out, so I hope it will be useful to some of you. Since we collected a bunch of things, I'm starting a small base at spawn to store all our stuff. That is not where I want to settle permanently, but it will be our temporary base for quite a while since I haven't found a biome where I want to establish myself yet. Also, night was falling, so I quickly sheared some ships in order to get wool to make a bed and avoid dying like last night. Then, we head towards our second shipwreck, where I hope to find more diamonds. We only got one from the first one, and I'm having fun trying to get all the resources I can without having to go mining for them. In the first chest, we got a treasure map and quite a few books, but the other two were not that good. Apart from a bunch of emeralds, there was nothing really interesting there. While I was looking for the treasure, something strange caught my eye. A weird structure in the jungle that had nothing to do there. A closer look revealed that it's actually a drowned ruin that spawned on land instead of deep underwater. I instantly got quite curious because I remembered that's the kind of structure where you have the suspicious sand that can give you sniffer eggs, which are quite rare and hard to obtain. And I obviously want to get every mob in the game, but I also want every farm, and a sniffer farm is one of them. Then I spot a village next to the mesa and I start thinking like, oh my god, this seed is insane. There is so many different biomes close to spawn and great luck with the structures. When I finally get to the treasure's location, I try to do the speedrun of things where I look at the position in the chunk to find the chest, but I forgot how to do it properly, so I'm failing miserably. And also, I wasn't looking in the right chunk, so that doesn't help. When I finally realize that and I find a spot where I'm supposed to look at, I realize I have another chest that is deep in the water and is very recognizable because it generated its own sand once again. Sadly, no diamonds, but a bunch of iron there, so that was really cool. On the way back, I spot another shipwreck and decide to try my luck again. And this time we got really lucky on the iron. Look at that! There's so much of it. Less lucky on the food chest though, but I don't really care. We obviously also get a new map. Before following that map, I got distracted by an underwater ruin portal that looked like it's fallen over. And I found it's a really cool ruin portal design. I didn't know it existed. Didn't get much loot from the chest, but that's okay. After a quick stop home to dump all the resources we gathered, I decided to make iron armor and tools so we have a better fighting chance against the monsters, cause this leather armor wasn't gonna take us very far. We are now all ready to look for that new treasure, but before that, I want to try my luck with the sniffer eggs, so I go find some copper that I saw earlier to make a brush so we can try to get those eggs. Honestly, there was more suspicious sand that I was expecting to find, but we didn't get any luck and just got junk. The chest also wasn't very helpful. It had a map, but that was the same that the one we already had. I had kinda given up on the sniffer eggs, but chat reminded me something. That structure probably didn't spawn alone, which meant there is probably more of it around, with more suspicious sand to look for. This gave me back hope for the sniffers, but I decided to look for the treasure first. Little did I know how long it was gonna take me to find that chest. I broke a full shovel looking for that dumb chest, and when I finally lay eyes on the content of the chest, oh my god, it was the most beautiful chest ever. Not one, not two, but 3 diamonds. We are gonna make a diamond pickaxe without having mined a single diamond. I love it. After arming myself of 2 water breathing potions that we got from the treasure chest, we are heading for the drowned ruins. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble to properly see the suspicious sand underwater, and the few I found just had junk in them. Until we got one! I was so happy. I don't know the actual odds of getting a sniffer eggs, but they seemed quite high to me. I start to desperately look for more, but I can't see more of the sand. I'm starting to lose hope, but at the same time I can't stop looking because I really hope to find a second sniffer egg here. I don't want to have to go 4k blocks out to hope to find another one. And after persevering a bit more, I get it! 2 eggs in a row! I couldn't believe it. It really felt like I hit the jackpot. Now I can build sniffers for my farms and future zoo. With the eggs in our possession, off to the village we go. But it is night time, so I need to be careful. And oh, a cat! I love cats. I want them all. But I don't have a lead or fish on me, so I did the only logical thing to do. Chase it with a boat. But I have to give up halfway through because the mobs are about to kill me and destroy the whole village. I tried to sleep the night, but of course there was monster nearby, so I couldn't. Ended up finding them from a little hole where a zombie villager almost died. I tried to save him to save the village from villager infestation, hoping to come back once I have the required potion. I then go back to my boat and try again to get that cat, which I do manage to get in the boat. No, he won't despawn and will wait for me to get the required fish. But when I got back to do the same with my villager, he's already despawned. Oh well, at least there is more villagers alive. Now is the painful attempts to track these villagers in the ground safely so they don't get killed. I don't know why I decided not to put them in boats and just build walls around them, that would have been so much easier. Anyways, after successfully dealing with the villagers and pillaging the rest of the village, I decide to explore the mesa. I spot a lava lake, which will be useful for when we want to go to the nether, and another village in the distance. But then, while I was looking at the beautiful landscape, I saw another cat, which means more boating. And we got it! 2 cats out of 11 already. Now that the cat is secure, we can head back to the village, but I got distracted by an armadillo, and since it's the first time I get to interact with one, I tried to use my brush, which got absolutely destroyed within a few seconds. I didn't know you should click and not hold since that's what we do with the sand. Oh well, I didn't really need that brush anymore, that's fine. So, on to exploring that second village, which doesn't seem much as first. Except for a villager using sea pickles as a decoration, which I've never seen before. And a few random chests until I finally spot it. A new cat! Which means, you know the drill by now. But he's not alone, there's actually 2 new cats. And there we go, 4 different cats patiently sitting in boats waiting for me to return with delicious fish. It is finally time for us to mine. I'm going down to get some obsidian as my primary goal, so we can go to the nether to get some quartz and finally start to make some farms. I also decided not to mine any resources yet, because I want to get a fortune-free villager first so we can get the most out of the ores we find. And while I slowly make my descent to what I believe is a lava lake, I see them! Diamonds! So I rush to uncover them, and there's only 3 blocks. But with fortune, that should be a good start. After exploring this case for a while, I find a few lava sources but not enough for another portal. But then I remember about the lava lake we saw earlier. But I don't remember where it was. Fortunately, chat remembered, and I headed over there to gather our obsidian. And after gathering all the obsidian we need, I decided to bring our friends the villagers to our base so we can get that fortune book. So to bring them home, we will have to get them on boats, drive them to the ocean, and to our base. I didn't know at the time, but there is a new very easy way to transport boats on land now. But since I didn't know, I started digging big tunnels to drive the boats to the sea. Our poor villager didn't seem to be very happy about the prospect of his new life, which I did find very strange. Who wouldn't like an eternal life of eating carrots and getting beaten by zombies over and over again to sell books at a very low price? Frankly. After using a lectern and a composter to lure our friend to his new house, we go back to get the second villager. That's when chat decided to name them Chris and Stacy. We got quite attached to them and we strongly hope that nothing bad will happen to them. After we get Stacy to join Chris in their new lovely home, we try to get the trades we want. And while we didn't get fortune, we got mending. After trying for a while to get the fortune from Chris, who was really not cooperative, maybe the fact that I accidentally hit him with my axe didn't really help, but anyways, I decided to stop there and to get the fortune free book off camera. I naively thought that I would be able to do some nice off-camera work, and we would start the next stream with a nice family of 3 villagers selling a fortune and mending book. But the game decided otherwise.